Hello there everyone, welcome back to another video about the One Piece children's trading card game. Today I'm going to be going over all of the new cards that have been revealed over the last couple of weeks while I've been in America. Sorry for the very pre-recorded uploads in that time and the inability to kind of keep very on top of news. I'm going to be discussing the Battle Spirit Saga Pro Tour news earlier in the week because we've had a Pro Tour, sorry not a Pro Tour, we've had a Grand Open this weekend, so obviously I want to talk about that too, so I'll talk about it all in one go. As well as some theories on when the best time to go to them might be. But anyway, you're here for One Piece, so let's not waste your time. Though I do want to say, if you're interested in competitively focused One Piece trading card game content, you should check out my Patreon. It's linked in the description below, because I am putting up a new guide as of you guys seeing this. It should be tomorrow. It should be going up, so it's going to be a Zephyr guide. So if you're interested in playing Zephyr, I think it's one of the most fun, complete turn your brain off decks in the game. It's super, super fun. Then please do check that out. But it's very, very, very good, especially if you're expecting a green focus format. And it's very good into Whitebeard as well. So, hey, worth checking out. I've also put up a Zoro guide, a Kinemon guide, an Ivankov guide, and a Whitebeard guide on that Patreon, so you can check those out as well. It's $5. I think it's money well spent. Let's stop shilling. Let's get into the cards. So we begin with Trafalgar Law. This is just a vanilla Dressrosa unit, but it is a 5/7, so it is likely to see play based off of that alone. 5/7 is a very, very good stat line, so this is probably just going to see play regardless, especially in the context of a certain other card, which we'll talk about later. Then we have got Yamato. So this is a Yamato SR for yellow. This is a 9/9 land of 1/0 traded unit. On play, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost that is equal to or less than the total life of you and your opponent. Then, if you have one less life, and you may add up to one card from the top of your deck to your life area. So I think this is an okay card. If you go first, realistically, when you play this, you're probably going to be popping like something between a 5 and a 7. Something like that, depending on how aggressive you are in keeping yourself at high life and how aggressive your opponent is in keeping in themselves at high life. You're incentivized to essentially, with this, be getting yourself down low and keeping your opponent high by focusing on their board, and then using this to heal, and then from that point on, pressuring your opponent with this nice swing you've got in removing a unit, healing one, and establishing a 9/9. Unfortunately, I can't help but look at this and just go, well, I would basically always rather play Big Mum, Linlin, 10 cost. And I understand the purpose of this card. It is for decks that are not Big Mum Pirates traded, which, you know, as time goes on, there will be a majority that are not Big Mum Pirates traded than are. But at the moment, Katakuri is the runaway best yellow leader, and this does not slot into Katakuri at all, though of course I do think you will probably want to play this in Yamato. I think this card is fine. I think a lot of people have been talking about how like it is really, really sucks. It doesn't suck, it's just fine, but I will be wanting some of the alt arts because Yamato is a W. Alright, next we've got Sasaki. This is a blue 3/4 2k counter, so exact same stats and cost as the purple one, which is quite cute. On play, return all cards in your hand to your deck and shuffle your deck, then draw a while ago because it's a 2k counter and it's a body you can play as needed. So I think based off that alone, that might be sufficient reason to just play it. And, you know, part of me thinks this might be quite good purely because sometimes you brick, and in a deck without a huge amount of consistency where you're trying to draw stuff, something like this may be very, very valuable. I think that's unlikely, and I don't think this is going to see any play for about 2 years. And then I think in about 2 years, some sort of interaction is going to be introduced that completely breaks this card, and this random uncommon from 2 years ago is going to be like $10. So I'm going to be hoarding a bunch of them because I'm convinced that's going to happen, but of course that could be just colossal cope, and I could just be chatting shit, who knows, but that's what I think. Alright, next we got our first of several filler characters getting cards in this set. This is Daddy Masterson. I believe this is due for Yasop or something. So East Blue and former Navy, so recently relevant traits. Don 1, at the end of your turn, set this character to active. So this is like a 7 cost kid. And honestly, if this was a set 1 or a set 2 card, I would be inclined to think this is very, very powerful and this would probably see play. By the time we get to the set 4 metagame, I just don't think this is doing enough. I don't think it's bad. I just don't think, you know, it's as high value as you would want. That combined with the fact it doesn't even have counter. If this was a 2k counter, I'd be like, okay, alright, interesting. But yeah, I just think it's a bit mid. If it had a trigger to play it, even, like, so you could synergize with Arlong, I just think they could have given this card a little something extra to make it a little bit better. So I think it's below curve. All right, next we got our first red card of this video. This is Koza. So this is a 3/3 with a 2k counter. When attacking, you may give one of your active leaders minus 5,000 power this turn. This character gains 2,000 power until the start of your next turn. So until your next start turn, same thing. So this is going to be a 3/5 swing. Now we're going to talk about this in combination with the secret rare shortly. But, of course, if you can restand and re-attack, you can just make him a 7k. The minus 5,000 power to your leader literally doesn't matter. I imagine this is due to... I mean, this is certainly, like, for some sort of balancing reason, which will come into play later down the line, because at the moment, you know, like, it's very well restricted to not be abusable, but who's to say? I think this is going to be a 4 in Vivi, purely because it's a 2k counter, and it's Alabaster Kingdom traded, and Lord knows we're going to get a red top 5 Alabaster search. So, yeah. Next, we've got Frankie. This is an interesting character. This is a 1-cost Water 7 Frankie family 2k counter. So, this is probably going to see play at 4 in the Iceberg deck just off of that alone. On your opponent's attack, once per turn, don -1. If your leader's Water 7, up to one of your leader characters gains 1k during this battle, and there's a 2k counter. So this is actually quite a nice way to just kind of reuse, like, get extra value out of dons on every single turn in the late game. You're kind of just sitting at 6k base when it matters, which is kind of nice. I just feel like you would never want to play this card, though, because it does have such value in hand as a 2k counter. Though, of course, the logic is if you play it, then it's kind of like turning one card in your hand every turn into a 2k counter that was a 1k counter. So, yeah, I understand the logic. I think you're just going to play this as a 2k counter that's searchable. That's the big reason. But it's fine. Alright, then we got a black card, Gyatz. This is a 1-cost at 1k, 2k counter, Dressrosa, so of course it's going to be a 4 of in Rebecca. On play, up to one of your characters of the Dressrosa type may attack your opponent's characters in active during this turn. And we will talk about this card in combination with a few others, but this is going to be a 4 of, I think. We need to talk about the stage, which was the card revealed yesterday, because it is pretty wild. Okay, then we got the secret rare, revealed. Nefertari Vivi. This is one of 2 secret rares, of course. I still think the second secret rare is going to be Law. So this is a 7/4 Alabaster Kingdom 1k counter. All of your red characters with a cost of 3 or more, other than this character, gain Rush. So this is a tremendously powerful effect. However, it is also ridiculously easy to remove, right? Like super, super easy to deal with. Now, I'm interested to see how this plays into Garp, because of a card called Sabo, who we will talk about shortly. Is going to be quite a powerful combination. But it's worth saying this is a very powerful card, very, very easy to remove, and I think unlikely to see play beyond the first week unless it gets some form of protection. And I hope it doesn't get a form of protection, because this is kind of toxic. I don't really want all my opponent's units to have Rush. I think that's a bit disgusting. So I think they've balanced this fine by making it a 7/4. 1k counter is justified, and just leave it alone. Don't give it any method of protection. If your opponent is able to stick this, frankly, they deserve the win. So just leave it. Leave it as is. Okay, next we've got Pell. This is a very powerful card. This is a 5/6, no counter, but don 1, when attacking, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 4,000 or less power. So, of course, in combination with Otama, this is a pistol. In combination with Ace, this is dealing with 7k or lower. This is just a very high value card. It's a 5/6, good stat line, very, very good. Not quite on the level of Marco, I think. Like, Marco is just such an insane card, but this is about as close as it's reasonable to get. And I do feel like they've been toning red down a little bit this set, just a tad. Okay, then we got a 6/8 for red. There's a vanilla in Kuro, East Blue traded, if that matters. Then we've got Cavendish. This is a very interesting card. This is a 5/6 Dressrosa Beautiful Pirates traded. Don 1, this character can attack active characters. When attacking, you may rest your leader, KO up to one of your opponent's characters that cost 1 or less, then mill 2. So, of course, the milling is valuable in this deck because of the 7k restand Luffy. This being able to attack active characters is also valuable because the primary method of kind of like keeping your stuff alive in this game is just leaving it untapped because your opponent is forced to use hard interaction to get rid of it. And at the moment, only black can really do that. Now here, black can really do it. So into the black matchup, you're just turning your card sideways. But there's going to be, that when we come to the stage, you're going to see that's also an L. So I really do think that this Dressrosa deck is going to be quite scary. Of course, very much balanced by the fact that the leader cannot attack. But the kind of removal they're getting here, if we can get, the second you get like an Isho or a Tenkel's Kuzan down, these effects become so disgusting. Okay, then we've got Charlotte Bavarar. Bavarois? I don't know. This is a 3 cost 4k, 1k counter. Don 1. If you have less life than your opponent, this character gains 1k power. So it can be a 6k with 1 Don. And then trigger, you may trash 1 card from your hand to play this card. This is just not good enough to see play, in my opinion. If it was a 2k counter, I think potentially, but not really that good. Okay, then we got Sabo, and this has got to be one of the best cards in the game. So this is Black's second SR. I think they might get a third as well. This is Dressrosa Revolutionary Army. Now, we actually cannot tell what its counter power is. So you can look at the image here. We actually can't tell. Now, I think I, along with the rest of the community, are under the assumption it's 1k, because the card is already insane with a 1k counter. If, for some reason, this has a 2k counter, this might be the best card in the game. I don't know. It's pretty nuts. Okay, so 1k counter, we're going to assume, with a possibility of this being even better at 2k, but yeah. This is a blocker. So 5/6, 1k counter blocker. Okay, that's pretty good. That's kind of on rate. But then, on play, your characters cannot be KO'd by card effects until the start of your next turn. Draw 2, trash 2. My god. So obviously, like, this just being able to say no, get fucked to any form of removal at a kind of crucial point in the game where you're really trying to set up your board is very, very valuable. That, in combination with the fact that this can hard combo with some really silly things. For example, 8 cost Kid, right? If you are able to play 8 cost Kid on curve, don't use its effect, just play it. Your opponent's probably not going to waste the resources on it immediately, and they're going to have a slightly harder time getting rid of it because you're leaving it unrested. If it sticks and you play Sabo the next turn, I don't know how your opponent deals with that, because then you can set up your wall, like a wall of blockers. None of them are getting removed. Black is going to have like 16 insane blockers. Black-green, sorry, is going to have 16 insane blockers. And you can probably play 20 if you wanted to. You can throw in set 1 killer as well. Why not? God, this seems really, really, really powerful. And of course, you're filtering as well. Yeah, this card is nuts. It's going to be a 4 of in every black deck. I just can't see this not being a 4 of in literally every single black deck. This and Borsalino, your blocker lineup, it's sorted. And then we got Kung Fu Jugong. This is a 1/1 1k counter, Animal Alabaster Kingdom. If you have another one, this gains blocker. This is fine. It's cute, but of course the last one is completely useless. So, yeah. Then we have got Apis, which is another filler character. This is a 1/0 East Blue traded with 2k counter. On play, you may trash 2 cards from your hand, look at the top 5 cards from your deck, reveal up to 1 card with East Blue and add it to your hand, and bot deck the rest. Arguably, this is hidden Nami support, but this is so bad, I can't imagine this would see play ever. Outside of the fact it is a 2k counter, in which case it might see play at 4, just because you need the 2k counter. It's the only situation. Okay, then we have got Yokozuna. This is a 3/3 Animal Water 7 1k counter. It has blocker. On your opponent's attack, Don -1, return up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less to its owner's hand. I think this is going to be really, really good if we continue to see this early game rush Zoro aggro meta. Of course, Zoro in set 3 pivoted towards this kind of Whitebeard pirate deck, which means that this does nothing. But if we do see a return to the set 2 style of Zoro deck, then I think this is going to be very, very powerful indeed in giving purple an actual reasonable tool in contesting that. Then we have got Trafalgar Law. This is a promo. This is a 4/5 Heart Pirates Dressrosa. On play, you may rest one of your leaders, carry up to one of your opponent's characters that costs 1 or less, and 1k counter. I do expect whatever we get in the main set as a law, I just can't imagine we don't get a law, to be significantly better than this. This is pretty mid. If you play it, it's just because we really need Dressrosa trades. Okay, now this has got to be one of the best cards in the game. This is unbelievably good. Okay, sorry, let me just move my head up here. Okay, sweet. Sorry, sugar. 2/0 Don Quixote Pirates. Opponent's turn, once per turn. When your opponent plays a character card, if your leader is Don Quixote Pirates, so, you know, black, green Doflamingo, sorry, purple, green Doflamingo, rest up to one of your opponent's characters, any character, then rest this card. On play, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. So on play, this is fucking Ezo for the cost of Cat Viper. And on your opponent's turn, if they don't immediately deal with it, which, spoiler alert, that's kind of hard to do without playing a unit first, you just get to tap it and tap one of your opponent's units. This is so good. And we haven't even talked about this in the later game. I'm talking about just pure early game. This is incredible because it's going to give you such powerful board control. And of course, if you have as long as you have a blocker, this is not dying in the early game, right? If you can establish a blocker, or you can get like a Momo down or like a Bonnie down or something, right? Something that's arguably even more high priority than this. Although I'd argue this is probably a more high priority than just getting a +1. The way you'll be able to control your opponent's board throughout the entire game is disgusting. And, oh God forbid if you have 2 of these. And the other ridiculous thing, which is really insane, is this in combination with 10 cost Doffy. Oh my God! Because now your opponent, you play this on your 8 Don turn, and your opponent's kind of in a sticky situation, especially if you get 2 of these down. And I can't imagine this is not going to get a top 5 searcher, by the way, like for Don Quixote Pirates. And you rest 1, 2 of your opponent's guides. Either they just, basically play around it to the extreme, in which case they only do like 1 or 2 attacks, and they only have 1 or 2 things rested, in which case they've had probably such a dog shit turn that who cares about you're not doing Doffy on curve, or they play into it and they have 3, 4 rested things, and you play 10 cost Doffy and you clear whatever the last thing is, and you basically just skip your opponent's turn. This card is unbelievable. The most staple 4 I've ever seen in every single Don Quixote Pirates deck from now till the end of time, it feels like. And even outside of that, it's just a really good card. Like, on play to rest a 4 cost or lower, this might see play just for that. Really, really good. Then we got a Bellamy card. This is Banish, a 5/6, and Don 2. If you have 0 life, this character gains 2k power. So this is a 9k swing for 2 Don with Banish at 0. This actually seems alright. Seems fine. Okay, then we've got yesterday's card reveal. So this is Corrida Coliseum, and this is the card that I really do feel like has turned black into something quite insane. Rebecca in particular. So this is a 1 cost stage, Dressrosa trait, so you can find it with the leader effect. If your leader has the Dressrosa type, your characters that have the Dressrosa type can attack characters on the turn they are played. So now your Cavendishes and your Luffys that are able to they're able to attack active characters, the 1 cost 2k counter that gives your characters the ability to attack active characters, in combination with this, they suddenly have Rush, right? And they have one of the most valuable forms of Rush, because in the early game, you want to be attacking your opponent's units anyway. It's very rare a situation when you don't want to be doing that. And in fact, usually, the only reason you're not is because you can't, because it's stood. Well, now you get around that. Now you're able to just absolutely destroy your opponent's board while setting up, like, giving yourself this nice wide board. This just seems so good. This in combination, the craziest part of this to me is this with 7 cost Luffy, because that essentially becomes a double attacking, like, board wipe the turn it's played. I don't know what you're going to do. Like, if you play that on curve and your opponent went second, right? They're going to have what? 2 4-drops, a 4-drop and a 3-drop maybe on the board. Like, they're not going to have that much. And that 7k swinging into it is probably going to board clear. That's nuts. This card is so good. I think this is just going to be a 4 on Rebecca, because you filter so hard that you can just get rid of any excess copies. It's very unlikely you're going to draw more than one. You're probably going to be finding them off the top. Yeah, this seems really good. Okay, and the last card here hasn't got, like, the proper translation, but it's a Bonclay. This is an uncommon. This is a 3/4 with a 1k counter. So same stats, but not the same counter as the blue one, but whatever. This is pretty good, actually. So the Jank translation. The trigger is Don -1 to play this, and then on the opponent's attack, you can do -1 Don. Oh, sorry, you can't really see that. You can do -1 Don. During this turn, this character's power becomes the same power as the opponent's current attacking character or leader. So this is kind of interesting, because you can kind of use this when your opponent does a really big swing to make this impossible to clear if it's arrested, or you can just use this on your opponent's first attack, and this is always just Don -1, 1k counter, it survives. So I think this is pretty cool. I actually don't know if this is going to see play. I think it's decent. It's, I think this will be a 4 in the yellow-purple variant, because it's just a free play off a trigger. Like, you're just getting something for free, and units that play themselves off trigger are really valuable. I don't know about blue-purple. But there we go. that is it for these card reveals. Black and green are looking crazy going into the next set. Isho, Rebecca, and Doffy are all looking to be insanely good. Vivi has really strong potential. Red is just incredibly good. We haven't seen the consistency cards that Red always gets that are always broken, so we'll need to wait and see what happens with those. Queen, of course, looking mid as fuck, and I can't even remember who the last leader is, but there we go. I hope you guys are excited for set 4. As I said, please do check out my links in the description. If you enjoyed this video, like it, subscribe to the channel for more One Piece content, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Cheers.